Hey, this video is going to show you how to do graphical presentations in SPSS using your data. And this is the short version, so if you want a little more detail, be sure to check out the longer version. It's about 11 minutes. So to do these, you come to Graphs, and then most people find it easiest to use the legacy dialogues. You can use the chart builder as well, but most people like this legacy dialogues. We're interested in 4 kinds of graphical presentations: a bar chart, a pie chart, a box plot, and a histogram. So they're all here. You can see bar, pie, box plot, and histogram. So let's start with the bar chart. Just click define here. Use their defaults for all of these if you get this window popping up. So what you do is you put a variable in here into the category axis. You just click over here, use the arrow, and then you're on your way. Hit OK. And then you're going to get this first one's a bar chart. Here you can see this variable is how often do you try to persuade others to share your same views. And you can see that most people say never and very few people say often. So it gives you a really good sense for the shape of the data. Now if you're using a nominal variable, you shouldn't talk about the shape of the data because they're not in the right order because there is no right order. So you can't say that it increases as you move toward cat or something like that. Here you can say it increases as you move toward never. You can also use interval ratio level variables, but if you do that, it gets really messy, just like with everything else. There's so many categories in an interval ratio level variable that it's just going to look really messy and it's going to be minimally useful. So let's put one in really quick so that you can see that. And out it comes. So here you can see you can still kind of see the shape, but it's pretty messy. So the next type of graph that we're going to talk about is the pie chart, and use the defaults. Now the pie chart is the same thing. If you do interval ratio level variable in a pie chart, it's going to be terribly messy. I'll show you that just for fun. And I'm going to pause because it's going to take about 3 minutes for it to come up. Okay, and I'm back about 3 minutes later, and this is what you get. So you can see it's minimally useful. This isn't really telling you much. It does kind of look cool to hang up on your wall, but that's about it. So when you do a pie chart, nominal variables are fine, and ordinal variables are generally fine. The real issue here is you want to think about how many categories you have in your variable, and interratio level variables have a lot of categories. If you have one of these how likely variables, it's a nice ordinal level variable, then here you have 4 categories. You can see the tan is not very likely, the purple is not at all likely. And it's nice to see what's happening here with your data in just a sort of snapshot. So nominal variables are good for this. Ordinal variables are good in a pie chart. Now let's move to a box plot. The purpose of the box plot, again, just click the default, is to show you, again, the shape of the data. You use it with interval ratio level data because it's computing quartiles and stuff. It actually uses standard deviations too for some aspects of it. We're going to talk about all that later on in future lessons. But you put your variable in here, it should be interval ratio. And here you need a category, which is usually nominal, usually dichotomous, so that you can see how it compares across that category. I don't love that it doesn't let you do just the box plot, but here you can see the difference between male and female, and the variable we use was percent of college education. So this dark line in the middle is the exact midpoint, the median, and we'll talk more about that. We've talked about it a little bit. And these represent quartiles, this bottom line, this line, and we'll talk about that later on. But for now, you just need to know that the bulk of the data are in this tan box. So you can see that male and female have about the same max and close to the same min. But for female, the bulk of the data is more spread out, and for male, it's more concentrated. Also, the median's a little bit higher. So that gives you the first 3, and the very last one is the histogram. The histogram, a lot of people, I don't get the difference between a histogram and a bar chart. A histogram is a bar chart, shoulder to shoulder, just slammed together. So let's use an interval ratio level variable. And this is father's occupational prestige. And you can see that what you're using a histogram for is to see the shape of the distribution. So this is not a appropriate for a nominal level variable. You could do it and it will come out. SPSS will do whatever you tell it to do. It's not always right though. You have to make sure you're putting the right things in here. So you can do the interval ratio level variables. It's most appropriate for that. If you put in an ordinal level variable, it kind of works, but again, if you remember with ordinal, you don't really have even spacing between the categories. So you have to take caution. You can describe the shape. It looks like it's generally skewed off to the right or the left, but you have to take caution with it. And I hope this helps. Those are the 4 charts that you'll be doing. And good luck on your assignment. Let me know if you have any questions.